Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look here at Avalanche to kind of see what's going on. I got a lot of requests for this one too, specifically some of my community members asking about this. So this one's for you, Amit, and others. Obviously, we're here to help understand maybe DCA targets, profit targets, those things, as well as obviously what's going to happen next. So if all goes well, you can learn a thing or two here today, and my goal is to make sure that you are a safe and effective trader. All right, so hopefully you can learn something. Of course, I've got a trading community, academy, and signal group, kind of a hybrid there. Link in the description below, CryptoCache.tech, if you want to become a better trader, start to finish. All right, so taking a look here at Avalanche. We'll start with the obvious and work our way down. We have a potential. Again, potential. We refer to this as a death cross. I don't like the term, but yeah, when the 50 intersects with the 200 in a downward fashion, that is essentially an adverse sign. Could push the price to action down further. So just keep in mind, until we close above the 50-day SMA, I wouldn't be considered, fully bullish on Avalanche. Now, in the general sense of things, Avalanche is very, very good. It's still good value, big picture. Its Bitcoin pairing is doing very well. It's much more valuable than Bitcoin in that sense. So a lot of positive stuff here. But again, without breaking above or staying above that, I think that that's something to acknowledge. That would give us, a tentative benefit, if you will, to push to the upside. Also note too, we are making lower lows at this point. Okay. We haven't yet made a lower high because obviously we've got these two here and this hasn't come to full effect yet. But we are making lower lows. That's kind of halfway to the downside, so to speak, where we could potentially see another continuation to a lower price point, potentially. Not saying it's going to happen, but that's there, right? Another thing that's there too is that we got basically an RSI at just below 50. Anytime you see an RSI trending closer to 50, you kind of got to be aware because oftentimes it can work as support if it's coming down or resistance is coming up. So again, that's not foolproof by any stretch of the imagination, but it does tell us that we probably have somewhat of a rejection here at $81, and that might be a price point that is difficult to pass or just a general resistance level. So bottom line here is where the price action is at right now between 76 and 82 as a round number. That is probably an area of potential resistance. Okay. Again, coincidentally, both moving averages are trending right there as well. So that just kind of gives us a little something to think about. Moving on to the 4-hour though, this may look a little bit better here. And actually, let's go ahead and see. TD Sequential is kind of telling us that we have an 8 on TDS and we're getting rejected once again by $82. Again, I'm using a round number. It's technically 81.60. But right there at about, if you kind of round up a little bit, 82 is the most recent high, right? So if you look at this big picture here, the 4-hour time frame, we haven't made a higher high yet. Okay, so we're still making lower highs. So it's important to acknowledge that in the sense that this is kind of just a downward pattern. Eventually it averages out and we'll have to come back. But this most recent push, I wouldn't say has failed, but it hasn't fully broken above that plane yet of roughly $82 until we can get a close above 82, just in the general sense of the 1-day chart more specifically, have a nice full 24-hour time frame closing above that price point of $82 is a close approximate. We're still going to be essentially in the doghouse. I would actually better yet say 83, because 83 would definitely put us above that most recent high. Okay, so again, just something to think about. This is definitely an area of contention, but again, we're up at an 8 and we're hitting that resistance level. It makes sense for the price to pull back right now. Okay, so regardless of what Bitcoin does, well, not regardless, because obviously it's fairly synonymous with its behavior recently, right? We should expect the price to come down and bounce off 76, same as what we're expecting for Bitcoin to do is to bounce off 38,200 if I'm not mistaken. That's a specific price point we need to stay above in order to have a 1-day close and give us that confirmation we're still trending upwards. Avalanche would need to close above $76, I would say at the very least, to ensure that we have a good push. It doesn't necessarily have to happen on the 1-day chart today, but in the near future, a 1-day close above $83 would be very important. Okay, but again, this little pullback here is not a problem as long as it doesn't come down too far or anything lower than $76, the next key level support. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there on the 4-hour. We do have potential support here as well at 50 on the RSI, which could imply that we might see a bounce here soon, right in the range of $78. Okay, so again, I'm not telling you it's going to come down to 76, but a DCA target would be 78 and 76. Maybe combine them both, right? Just so you can be safe and you get filled one way or the other. We do have a MACD convergence here recently, so the potential of it increasing from here is quite high, so we should expect the price to continue upwards. One quick thing before we look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can kind of see here, and you see this a lot on other charts as well. we got a 9, comes down to retrace, essentially a little bit of consolidation, comes back up to a 9. Instead of consolidating, we saw a strong leg up. That's kind of reflectant of Bitcoin's push overnight to closer to 39,000. It tested 39,000, got rejected. Same thing with Avalanche here, getting rejected right at about $81/$82. Okay, so again, this is not a terrible thing. Unfortunately, the price is coming down, but that's reflective of Bitcoin at this present time. And again, if it comes down, I would say $78/$76 would be a good little channel to consider adding to your position. Once again, there's other targets too you want to set as well. I mean, generally speaking, when it comes to dollar cost averaging, you don't just do one target. Another one would be $70.50, or possibly the most recent low of about $67. That could still very well happen if Bitcoin doesn't make higher highs and higher lows, as well as Avalanche as well, right? So they're kind of, again, working similarly in that sense. And it's really important to acknowledge that. Taking a look at the, TD sequential, we already looked at that. We're going to look at Ichimoku Cloud. And at this point, the lagging span is dropping, reflecting on the price action here. So we've had a pretty decent sell-off here right now so far with Avalanche. I'm speculating that Bitcoin is on the downtrend. Let's see, yeah, 38.4. It was just at 38.7 a moment ago. So yeah, Bitcoin took a little bit of a hit, and that's essentially reflecting here on Avalanche as well. So again, regardless of how great Avalanche is doing, it has it's more valuable, so to speak, if you compare it with the Bitcoin, pairing. It's still suffering, and more so synonymous with Bitcoin in the most recent past. Okay, just important you acknowledge that, because that is what we're seeing here, of course. And again, as long as Bitcoin holds above 38.2, we're going to probably be in pretty good shape to see Avalanche bounce off of 78 or 76. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there, but we're above the cloud. All good things here. You don't want to necessarily close your position, but you want to just be mindful of the fact that if we can't make a higher high or higher low soon, then we will see this intersect with the price action, giving us a sell signal in the relative near future, roughly 12 hours. Okay. So again, all good stuff here. Honestly, Avalanche is looking great. We're expecting a pullback based on the fact that it's overextended. A lot of coins are doing that right now, including Bitcoin. And we just gotta kind of be patient and try not to go all in. So word of the day here is dollar cost average. You've heard me say that for the last 2 or 3 months. Main reason why is when Bitcoin's on the downtrend, you want to keep adding to your position if possible at lower price points. Okay. Once again, DCA targets here would be $76 and $70, good round numbers. Most recent low, of course, is 67. And I would say extreme worst, probably more so 63 or 53, right in that range. Again, that's the worst case scenario, but if all goes well, Avalanche kind of continues to break free and climbs synonymous and or higher than Bitcoin, like Terra Luna's doing, or perhaps Atom, and we could see a price increase upwards of 89 to 99, maybe even $100 for Avalanche in the next couple of weeks. That's very much a likelihood. But again, we are still making lower lows on the one day, and we need this next high to be higher than $100 to effectively be able to continue that higher high pattern and to break this potential downtrend. Okay. All right, that's about all I got here for you. Hopefully you found benefit, and if you're not currently a community member, consider joining. Link in the description below, of course, and that is mostly, again, just CryptoCache.tech, my website where you can actually register and become a better trader in general. Got a trading academy, amazing community. Half the reason why I make these videos is for them. So thank you so much to my current community members. And of course, I do share signals for every single trade that I take to ensure you understand how to structure your trades more effectively. And you can also one-click follow if that's your thing. All right, well, I hope you hope. I hope you hope. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.